When I have a thought, I gotta let it out. It's a bright spot that I can't even doubt. My opinions, my point of view, even if things are a little chopped and screwed. So yeah, even if you disagree. So yeah, even if I'm not in your pedigree. So yeah, especially if you agree. So yeah, so yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you're listening to it. Welcome to the podcast with your girl, Caroline Diamond. And if that little wasn't a little foreshadowing on what I'm going to talk about in this episode, this topic is something that I've pondered a lot on my own time. Obviously, like, I have all these questions personally. I talk about these with my friends, and then I'm like, this would actually be a good podcast topic. And that's my process. So I saw the Michael Jackson movie when I was home, and I'll talk about how I felt about the movie later. But it, again, reignited this thought that I've had for a long time of, can you separate the art from the artist? Now, you might have a different perspective than me with this topic, okay? Again, if you listen to the intro song, even if you disagree, take that discernment with what I'm about to say, right? I'm not a person that says things just to be polarizing, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And you might disagree. Exactly. So, for me personally, it is very, very difficult for me to separate the art from the artist, okay? Because I, as an artist, I know what it takes to make something, to create something, put it out in the world, and how can you say that that is not a part of you that's out there? Your art is a part of the artist, regardless of whatever it is. Even if it's your persona, whatever, it's a part of you, okay? So it's very hard for me to separate the art from the artist. Case in point, Chris Brown. He is completely blocked on all of my music streaming platforms. I do not support that man. I have never really supported that man ever since what happened to Rihanna all those years ago. I don't deal with that. And when people are like, it was only that one time. Babe, that sounds like somebody that's never been abused before. Are you kidding me? That was the first time that it was shown outside the house. Yeah, and you're willing to do that before an award show? You're actually deranged, and this has happened multiple times before. He beat the fuck out of her face. And why did his ex-girlfriend Karrueche have a restraining order against him? I don't know. People don't like to bring that up, and I'm like, that's kind of crazy, because I just feel like he's low-key a monster. I'm just sorry. I don't listen to his music. I do not support that man. When I see women going to see his concert, I'm like, make it make sense. And I've debated bringing this up. Here I go. A lot of dancers want to dance for Chris Brown because he's a dancer's artist. You know what I mean? Like, he's like a Janet in that way. Like, he respects his dancers. He dances so much himself, and like, dancers want to dance for him. I get that. I just personally don't think that I could work for somebody that is that deranged. And of course, being in this industry for 10 plus years, everybody is damaged. Every artist is damaged. That's why we go towards the art. You know what I mean? Like, we are damaged individuals. the spectrum of damage that I personally, Caroline Diamond, am willing to put up with, that is the difference for me. That's the difference. It's not that I don't like people that like dance for, abusers, but I'm also like, okay, not important to you. That's kind of crazy, but like just clocked, you know what I mean? And put a yellow tab in it. I brought this thing like a couple years ago that when I was going on dates with people, if something like, obviously there are like red flag things, right? Like out the gate, you're like, ooh, a red flag. But other things that aren't necessarily red flags yet, I call that yellow tabs. Like if somebody, when I was on a date with somebody, I was like saying that I'm very emotional and I feel things deeply. And he's like, yeah, I'm not emotional. I'm very logical. I handle things very logically. And to me, I was like, ooh. Yellow tab that, because if it comes up in the future where I'm emotionally reacting to something and he's logically reacting, I can't get mad at him because he told me that he thinks about things logically, if that makes sense. Anyway, yellow tab. So I put a yellow tab on some bitches who like to dance for abusers or supports abusers. I'm like, yikes, like Drake? Who the fuck in the year 2026 is still listening to Drake? Like, are you deranged? That man is a pedophile with a bad liposuction stomach. Like, please don't kill me, girl. The music is not that good. If you wanted to listen to his music from like 2010, fine. I'll give that to you. But 2026, Drake, you're crazy. You're crazy. Now that brings me to the discussion of Michael Jackson. So I think in general, millennials have a very, I feel like, complex relationship with Michael Jackson, because we grew up when our parents really literally experienced Michael Jackson. They experienced the trajectory of his career. He was the biggest pop star in the world, the king of pop. And they were there when Thriller dropped on MTV. They were there, you know what I mean? So they have an experience with him that I believe they, it ingested into us. And then as a dancer, we grew up dancing to his music. Like, if you didn't do a dance to Michael Jackson, somebody at your studio did, or somebody at competition did. And I'm sure that to this day, there's still Michael Jackson songs playing at competition. That's just his impact with music. And then you have that stuff. And then when we were still really young was all these abuse stuff coming out. So we have this very complex version of the story of King of Pop and all these amazing accolades. Yeah, was that so hard for me to say? All these amazing accolades. And then you have the abuse, which again, my personal feelings is, yeah, he did. But it's so, not to therapize everybody. I've been to therapy. I don't know if you can clock that. And you should too. If you're not in therapy, get into therapy. It's not embarrassing. It's actually the most liberating thing that you'll ever do for yourself. Anyway, so people who abuse have been abused themselves. That's literally the formula. That's what happens. Okay. So it offers understanding for me when I find out what happened to people. It doesn't excuse the behavior that they then do to other people, but it makes you aware of why and the root causes. I'm the type of person that's always well, why is that? Let's get to the root cause of these emotions, all these feelings. You know what I mean? And so for a long time, it was really hard for me to separate Michael's music and his impact from the allegations. And nobody can sit here and say that Michael Jackson isn't one of the most inspiring artists that has ever walked this earth. He was a perfectionist. He was amazing. He was so incredible. His father hurt him so much. And they always say that the age that you become famous is the age that you get stuck in forever. And so when he got famous at age 8, he was stuck in the 8-year-old's body forever. And when I watched the movie, the Michael movie, it showed his trajectory, his life, all that kind of stuff. And you literally, as he's growing up, you see that he never quite shakes the fact that he's actually still a child. You know what I mean? He still has this youth-like spirit, this childlike mind. And it's not necessarily wrong, but I think that he didn't even really know what he was doing with these young boys. I really don't. I think that because he viewed himself like a child, he didn't see anything wrong with it. But then you zoom out and you're like, what does this 25-year-old have to do with a 7-year-old? Like that, the optics of that are yuck. Ew. But I don't know. It's kind of like a hard dichotomy to kind of navigate, because watching the Michael movie, it was amazing. I thought it was great. I really did. I thought Jafar Jackson did an amazing job. But it like really makes you think. It really makes you ponder certain things, and I was definitely thinking about it a lot after. And I'm like, and I asked my parents who I saw the movie with, I was like, can you separate the art from the artist? And my stepdad was like, yes, I can. And I was like, I just don't know if I can. I can't do that because I know that your art is you. Your art is your true feelings and viewpoints on things. Like, it's you. How can you separate the art from the artist? Like, how can you? And I would love to know your thoughts and your feelings, ladies and germs, in my comments, or message me. I want to know, can you separate the art from the artist? It's very, very difficult for me to do that. I really just can't. I can't even work for people that are really challenged. I can't. This section of the podcast is called Currently, and it's everything that I am currently reading, watching, and listening to. So I already talked about what I watched, which was the Michael movie, which I did really like. I think that the critics were kind of wrong in their assumption or their feedback about it. I thought it was great, but not everybody is going to think that, so whatever. I thought it was filmed really great. I thought the dancing was really amazing. It did take me out a little bit when they were at Moran K, which if you're a dancer in Los Angeles, you know where Moran K is. I was like, can you build the Demi Reynolds? Because, like, build the wood. I know it doesn't exist anymore, but build it! Come on, that's where they rehearsed. Not getting the facts right. Ugh. But anyway, I am finally finished the Diana Vreeland book. Oh my God. So Diana Vreeland she worked at Vogue. She walked so Anna Wintour could run. Actually, she ran before Anna Wintour bobbed in. And this book took me 4 months to finish. And I brought it home when I was home for a couple weeks, and I was telling myself, I was like, we need to finish this book. And I didn't finish it at home, but I was like, you know what, let me read a chapter a day. It's so dense, and she kind of talks like this all over the place. And because, RIP, she lived in an era of old bitch, you know what I mean? And I had to research people. She would mention people's names. I was like, who the fuck are we talking about? So I would also research that. And so that's why it took me so long to get through the book. But I finally fucking finished it. Thank you, Byron, for letting me borrow it and inspiring me to read it in the first place. Yes. As for what I'm listening to, I really do love the new Kacey Musgraves album. I am a muskrat. I love Kacey Musgraves. I believe that my top 5 albums, Golden Hour is on that top 5. Golden Hour is one of those albums. Happy, Golden Hour. Sad, Golden Hour. Road Trip, Golden Hour. Any spectrum of emotions, Golden Hour, okay? It's a perfect album. Yes, you heard me. You know I always have notes. It's a perfect album. And so after that album was Star-Crossed, which was her divorce album, which I liked Star-Crossed. It's not the same as Golden Hour, but You can't stop an artist from creating. And then after that was Deeper Well, which came out a couple years ago, which I loved Deeper Well. People didn't want to make noise about that album, but that's on them. And then this album, Middle of Nowhere, which I really, really liked. And it's like definitely a lot of, there's a lot of influence in it, obviously. And people are like, it's her coming back to country. I'm like, what happened to Star-Crossed and Deeper Well fans? I was there. I've been listening to Kacey Musgraves. Y'all are just late. Okay, but no, I love Middle of Nowhere, Mexico Honey. I'm in my humble it's just so good. Like, all the songs are really good. And I've been listening to it, so you should too. Well, thank you so much for watching, listening to the podcast, wherever you get podcasts. I never take it for granted people spending their 15 minutes max of their lives with me, wherever you're watching it or listening to it. If you're brushing your teeth, if you're washing your ass, I love to be a part of the process with you. I really do. And until next time, so yeah.